Hi everyone! We are here finally doing the how to make resin tutorial. So pay close attention. First, I will begin by showing you what you need to use resin and to apply it in the way it's supposed to be applied. Alright, so obviously for starters you need the resin. It's a two-part system. This part A is the resin, part B is the hardener. Okay? There's many different forms of resin that you can get, so look into it. This is just the kind that I use. It is Susan Lennart Casimir ice resin. You also need the measuring cups. I typically just get the, medicine cups that you would get out of a medicine box. Yes, you can get them in bulk online. Look on Amazon. Okay, you also need something to stir the resin with. So I just have popsicle sticks. Okay, you also need a mold release. I have Cast and Craft mold release. I think I bought it on Amazon. I don't know if you necessarily need it 100%, but it does give you a peace of mind knowing that you did put a conditioner onto the mold. And on that note, you need a mold. Whether it be a mold that you're using to put the resin into, or your own wire-made frame or a bezel of some sort. I'll show you some examples in a moment. So we have the mold. You also need a heat gun. This one is just a regular crafting heat gun. Okay, you also need wax paper or something to protect your surface. My heat-proof mat I usually use, it's a Mod Podge heat resistant mat, but it is dirty right now. I have to clean it, so I'm just going to use wax paper. Just any wax paper is fine. Just cover your surface with it. Also, you need whatever you are putting into the resin. So in my case today, I am making a little tarot necklace. So it's just a little mini tarot card. Okay. And then I'm making a little Ouija board necklace. So that'll just be filled in with black and glitter. So I have the paint to put into the resin and the glitter to put into the resin for the Ouija board one. Okay. Now, you also need a paper towel to use with the spray, the mold release. And you need a cover for your curing resin, something to go over the mold while it's curing so no dust particles get into it. And now I will show you some examples of things that I have made with resin. This is actually a painting that I made. I scanned it onto my computer and turned it into a necklace, but I made the frame out of wire and put resin in it. This is an example of what I'm making with the tarot card, right? This is the start to a sun catcher. There'll be beads hanging from it on the bottom. You can go many directions with your resin. These are only examples. You don't have to do exactly what I'm doing, obviously. Put your own spin on it. They also have one of my favorite things to make because you have such a large work surface is the spoon necklaces. Because you can put a lot in there and make it really cool and detailed. So you can go in many directions with that, but my things are easy today, so these will be quick. Okay, so first I'm going to cover my surface with the wax paper. I'm putting 2, so hopefully you can see it a little bit better. Okay. Here's my measuring cups. Now on these ones, I am using the dram measurement. Just figure out, just do half of whatever. You gotta do half and half. It has to be equal parts of each. So I typically do three parts each for the drams. So I do up to 3 drams for part 1 and up to 6 for part 2. So I'm just going to do 2 cups because that's all I think I'll need for this one. Make sure there's nothing in the cups. Okay. So you definitely need to be getting eye level. It definitely is a science, so treat it like that. Okay, and then we are going to stir each one for about a minute to a minute and a half. Don't mind the nail polish, okay? I'm sorry. But yes, they say if you start slow, you won't get as many bubbles. And this is true, but the heat gun is actually used to get the bubbles out. And I am going to teach you a little trick. So we'll mix these. There's a certain texture that you want to look for while you're mixing. Obviously, you want both parts blended. And it needs to be... there's definitely one part, the one that's kind of blue in tint, and that is the part A resin. It's definitely thicker than part B. So you'll be able to tell a difference in the texture. It'll be more smooth. And of course you're going to have bubbles. It's going to happen. But then what we're going to do is we are going to let it sit for 5 minutes. But you really want to make sure it's completely mixed, because if it's not, it is going to mess up your project. And that is very frustrating, especially with how impatient I am. I know personally I don't like to have to sit and wait a day. You definitely need patience for resin. And yes, I know I'm creating bubbles. But yes, you definitely want to scrape the sides. Get it nice and mixed. That seems like a good texture. And one of these I'm going to make completely black and glitter, so I will be mixing that. And like I always say, you need good music. If you have any questions about how to make a wire frame, please let me know. I'm not going to obviously get into it during this one. I just really want to show everyone how to actually use resin, the basics. But yes, you can make wire bezels, and you can pretty much put anything in those that you want. I mean, I had that tree one, the painting that I did, but I also have one, it's like a little mini world. It has a little mini Aphrodite statue. I feel like I should get it and show you. Alright, that looks about right. Alright. Okay. So those are going to sit, and I'm going to pause it for a minute. Alright. Well, actually, you know what? I'm going to mix in my paint into the one that I'm going to put paint into. I'll do the first one I did, so you can see how I do this. Now, there are paints that you can get specifically made for resin. I mean, they have all sorts of stuff that you can get for resin. They have glow-in-the-dark stuff, which I would love to do some glow-in-the-dark stuff. That would be awesome someday. Okay. Basically, I just put some black paint in there and I mix it up really, really well. Now, I have done this with sun catchers. The one that I did do it with, it was the only one I actually had patience for. Had a few different colors. There's purple, yellow, orange, and red. But I had to do it. It took 2 days to make that, because I had to let it cure in the meantime, because paints will mix. Colors will mix. And you should always put the paint in before you pour it into the mold. See, it's a nice, beautiful black. And then you can put it right on to the wax paper, all your tools that you're working with. Alright, so Just going to use some black glitter. It's kind of like a black purple. But I think it'll be beautiful. My favorite kind of glitter, and the only kind of glitter that I actually like, is glitter that's not coming off of whatever it's on. I don't like glitter that can spread throughout your home horribly. Oh, that's beautiful. I don't think you can see the detail in this, but... Well, once the product's done, you'll be able to see the detail. That is so cool. I'm very happy with this. Alright, now we're going to let it sit again. Okay, now I will pause it. And when I come back, we will be pouring these things into the molds and getting the bubbles out with the heat gun. So, okay, so before I actually pause it, maybe I don't have to pause it because I'm talking a lot. But, the whole point in letting it sit for 5 minutes is to let the bubbles rise to the surface of the resin. The resin's not going to harden while it's just sitting here for 5 minutes. Don't let it sit for really much longer than that, though, because obviously it starts to harden because it's mixed properly. You don't want that. So, okay, well, we're not going to pause it. We're just going to keep going because I have stuff to show you. Hold on 1 second. Okay. Now, with this mold release, all we're doing, it's very easy. It's just clear. Since I'm only doing, I might have to do 2 of these, possibly 3, because that's a lot of resin in that cup. So we'll see. I mean, we'll see. We'll see how it goes. But I might have to come up with something offhand, which is always fun too, because then you put all sorts of crazy things inside a necklace. Alright, so those 3 are done. I don't need those because I'm not using them. Okay. And it says to do it 2 times, but I don't think you really need that. I've been doing just once for a little bit now, and it's been working, so. Okay. I'm so excited about this. How cool is that? I love it. And it's going to be black and sparkly and amazing. So yeah, that'll be fun. We're almost there. And I have to turn on the heat gun, get it ready. And obviously, while you're waiting, you could be gathering anything that you may possibly need to put inside your resin. Okay, my heat gun is ready. Okay, so this is how you use the heat gun. You just point it. You don't want to stay on it for too long because it will melt the cup. And you don't want that. Okay, and even when you're sitting here like this, you could put a cover over the resin just so particles don't get in there. I might see something on the top of this. No. Okay, that's fine. So I'm going to start with the Ouija board one. Well, the planchette, because it's so awesome. Oh, that is so cool. Alright, so we have a bunch of this left over, so I am probably going to put it in the owl mold that I have. Put just a little bit more. That's good. You don't want it to overflow. I mean, you're still going to be able to see where you need to sand it. So also, when you're done with it, if there's going to be edges on it, you probably want a Dremel tool. Look into that, see where, I know Home Depot had some cheap ones. But it's just a sander, an electric sander. And you can just sand the edges right up and it'll be perfect and beautiful. And if you don't have a Dremel tool, then you could just use like a nail file. A nail file would work just fine. Alright, so I'm going to cover my planchette. That's too much, way too much in the in the way. Alright, I'm going to move it over here. Okay. And you don't want your cover for the resin to be airtight because it needs the oxygen to cure as well. Okay, so the next one is the clear one. Now usually when I'm putting some sort of image into just a mold, I'll put a little bit of resin in, let it spread out, and then I put the image in and I push it down. Okay, and then I fill the rest of it up. Okay. And if there's any bubbles on the top, you can hit that with the heat gun if you need to. But also push this down once you have it filled up, because you could get if there's any bubbles in the front of the image, it'll come out. So, but you do want to look on the underside. Just put it above your head. Try not to spill it all over the place, but just check it out, see if there's any bubbles. If there is, remember where it was and push down on it, and you'll see the bubble come up. And then you can pop it with the heat gun. Yeah. So that's pretty much it as far as that goes. That's it for part 1. Part 2 will be me popping these bad boys out of the mold. I will be doing a couple extra things because I have some extra resin. But yeah, that's the gist of it. So we'll see you in the morning to pop these out. For you, it'll be like seconds, not even milliseconds. Alright, thank you. Why, hello! We are back at it again. Now, The resin is curing still. It takes 72 hours to fully cure. But we're going to go ahead and try and pop some of these out so you can at least understand how to do it. So the first one will be my little tarot card guy. It's upside down. He's the magician. So basically, you just pop them out. If they're ready. There we go. He's popped out. So basically, you're going to wait for it to cure now completely. And then you will sand down these edges. You'll take the Dremel and just sand it right down, and then take a wet cloth and take off all the sanding dust, I guess. My guess is I'm not going to be able to get these out quite yet because of how big they are, but they are going to be quite awesome. Right? Yay! Now remember, I had to do these things on a whim, but it's pretty cool. And this will harden completely, and then I can take the Dremel and fine-tune all these edges and probably make a hole in this big thing right here so I can actually use that for the necklace. Beautiful. Okay, I'm gonna give this a shot. This is pretty cool. It's one of my owls. We'll see if we can get them out. This one's usually pretty hard to get out anyway. And when you're finding a mold, definitely make sure it can be used for resin, because some molds are not meant for resin. And you definitely don't want to waste any resin, because that stuff is expensive. Yeah, it takes a while to work at some of these, but it'll come out, trust me. It will be beautiful. That is so cool. See, with the owl I added some gold glitter, whereas the Ouija board one just has the black glitter. Now, since it's not fully cured, it is going to still be a little bit bendy. But how cool is that? And this one, it'll be a sun catcher, so it'll have a bunch of beads, probably gold and black beads. That's beautiful. Okay. Well, maybe I will try and get the Ouija board one out, since the owl came out so nicely. Oh, so excited for this one, you have no idea. So cool. I don't want to mess it up. Oh my gosh, it's so pretty! It's like a surprise. How cool is that? And again, I can sand the edges down, although these edges don't look very bad at all. Oh, that's so cool. Awesome, so there we have it. There's our cool little, and yes, all the edges will be sanded on this one. That is so cool. I love that. So you got a little taste of also how to make colored resin. and glittery resin. So these I'm just going to let cure. I'm not going to mess with them. And that'll be... I'll put hooks in here. You just screw them in. They're little tiny little hooks that you can buy just even on Amazon. I'll screw in a hook here and a hook here and probably one down here so the beads can come off the bottom. A lot of the ones I've done, the beads are above it. I want to try the beads below it this time. So yeah, happy resin making, and if you have any questions at all, I am here to answer them, of course. So yeah, just shoot me a message and I will be glad to spread some knowledge about lovely resin. It is fun, but you definitely have to figure out the process and follow all the rules in order for everything to go perfectly right. Right? Like I said, it's a science. But thank you very much for watching, and be sure to subscribe to our channel for more amazing DIY videos. And I hope you got some knowledge from this video. Alright, bye!